So here we're just simply doing that movement. Okay, as you can see here, this would be considered our slide flat as we're going to the outside part. Okay, we're in a 2-point because the emphasis is working that footwork. Okay, again, getting them comfortable moving that foot because that's one that they normally don't do. Okay, as far as moving that outside foot, a lot of times in the hips, be nice and stiff there. Okay, so this gets them comfortable. Okay, with being able to move that outside foot. Okay, another thing that it puts an emphasis on is that we don't want to change our stance. Here, this would be his normal stagger, okay, that he would have if, if it was base defense or if he was moving to the inside, it's his normal stance. A lot of times when guys have to exchange to the outside, they want to switch their feet, meaning they want to put their inside foot up, outside foot back. That way, when they step with that outside foot, it's like stepping with the inside foot the other way, and it's nice and smooth. It's comfortable. Okay, it's what they do. But in doing that, like the only time you have that outside foot back, excuse me, is when you're going out. I would imagine that as much times as we look at the offensive lineman for clues to give away what they're doing, I would imagine that the offensive line coaches are looking at clues to what we're doing that gives it away as far as what we're trying to get accomplished. So if I switch my feet, that's a clear giveaway that I'm doing something different than I normally do. A lot of times people will adjust their stagger, right? And as they adjust their stagger now, because their feet are a little bit more balanced up, they can make that exchange to the outside a little bit easier. Okay. And again, like, yeah, I understand that concept. But if that's the only time your feet are staggered, is when you're moving to the outside, you got to think that maybe the offense might pick up on that. Okay. And if they pick up on that, then to me, it kind of defeats the purpose of moving, right? Because they know where it's going. Now, maybe you can argue that, you still got the blitz pattern and things of that, and you might be able to overload them. But ultimately, if I adjust my feet, well, then if he's thinking he's got to come cover me up, and he maybe has an indicator that says that I'm not going to be at the same spot when the ball gets snapped, I think that would maybe adjust what he does with his get off and the blocking lane that he takes to come pick me up. Okay. So we want to do that. Now, let's just say that you got an athlete that really, really struggles with moving to the outside. Well, to me, I would say, hey, let's go ahead and take the stagger away, but let that be their normal stance, whether they're going vertical, whether they're going inside, outside, make that be their normal stance. Because then they got a comfort level, a guy that, makes a lot of plays, that has to play on the field. Okay, you make it comfortable for him. You still kind of keep working to try to loosen those hips up so that they can do that. But it doesn't necessarily give something away. All right. End of the day, obviously, ability align, as they say. And so you got to do what you got to do from that standpoint. Okay. But again, just putting an emphasis on that first step and getting it up into the line. Okay. Here we saw this one in the base run phase of it where we were trying to go quick feet. Well, just because we're moving, that doesn't change that concept. We don't want to be long striders. Okay. As we go through here, we want to have those feet hitting the dirt as quick as we can. Okay. As we learn that tempo, okay, then we'll go ahead and open up the gate so that we're covering more ground. Okay. But as I have my feet hitting the ground, again, the track coaches will tell you that that's where you're gaining speed. And so we want to make sure that we're gaining speed into any contact as far as where we're going and putting that emphasis on that. Okay. So now here we got the agiles in place, okay, to work and exchange across to make sure that we're getting to our proper landmarks. Okay. From that standpoint, so exchanging through there, you can use the hoops, okay, to get that same point across, okay, as far as making the exchange, okay, and then getting vertical back through the space. All right. So again, that's a critical piece there, right, that you can do. Obviously, the hoops are for pass, but you can utilize them, okay, in the movement segment. All right. Here, this we showed earlier in the pass rush part where we were doing agility, but where we incorporated the hoop, okay, with movement, right? And then now into the agility piece, which is more of a pass rush part of it, okay, but combining drills, okay, to get those drills done, all right, so that we get as many looks as we can in a short amount of time. All right, so now we've done it on the bags. We've got our landmarks. We've worked on that first step. We know the pattern, okay, that we're going for. Now we just simply put bodies out there So that way, when we take that first step, we can see, okay, are we on line, okay, to go to that hip, okay, to go to that hip of the next guy to be prepared for my collision and redirect, okay, or collision and ricochet, right? But as we do the drill here, so that's representing the collision, okay, with the redirect being more important than the collision, right? Because if that guy doesn't show up, I'm not going to run down there to block him, okay? I'm going to get vertical through that space because like in the run game, once I get here, it's over with. Now I'm into my pursuit, okay, and I track where the ball is at, okay, from that standpoint. But when I snap that elbow, I got to transition my eyes, okay, so that I can get to where I'm trying to get to. Here you see me placing a bag, an agile bag there, okay, on the ground, okay, so that they don't overstride the first step. Here you can see this young man, okay, he hits the bag, right, which now immediately tells him that he overstrided that a little bit. And so now instead of being able to get to the hip of this guy, he's now a little bit more on the front part of him, or almost to the shoulder or down the middle of him, okay, or maybe armpit is the best way to describe it, okay, which then puts us in a little bit of a bind, okay, because we could potentially get overtaken right here, especially if it was a stretch play, okay. So again, emphasizing how important that first step is, okay. So again, here we got that bag there to act as a landmark. Okay, so we can get a good feel, make sure we don't overstride it. Again, keying off of that guy. Again, here representing no other pressure coming. So my redirect is more important, okay, than the collision. All right. All right. So now we got the pop up here and we want to keep our pads down. Okay. We want to work on the exchange part of getting that shoulder down. Okay. Working that rip coming through there. So we put a towel there. Okay. Obviously the towel is there to pick up. Okay, I like for it to be like a sweeping motion because then it goes right into a rip move, right? I always tell the guys to not slow down to pick the towel up because the towel is not the drill. The drill is making the exchange, okay? But if we're anywhere close, even if we miss, but as long as we're anywhere close to that, okay, we've got a chance, okay, to be low if we go into a team segment. Now, these towels, they're just simply, the Gatorade towels, whatever, Powerade towels, okay, ripped in half, rolled up, and then taped up with some of the white athletic tape. Same thing that the trainers use to tape up ankles and all that stuff, okay? But then that gives us a sturdy towel to be able to grab hold of and again, execute the rip move, okay, to finish it through there. Notice that we're going off of the movement of a ball, okay? But making the exchange, ripping that arm through. Okay. When we're on the rip, I always like to overemphasize and say, hey, we want to go elbow to ear hole, okay, on my rip.